I thought ghosts belonged in horror movies, not on my front porch. Yet there she was, swaying in the dim glow of the porch light, clutching a half-empty bottle of bourbon like it was her only lifeline. The same woman who had once destroyed me, the woman I had spent years trying to forget, had come back. Her name was Vivian Hale, New York's youngest self-made millionaire. The woman who walked into my life when I was 19, and walked out leaving nothing but ashes. I should have slammed the door. I should have screamed at her, maybe even called the cops. But instead I froze. My hand lingered on the doorknob, my heart pounding like a drum I couldn't silence. And when her whiskey-soaked eyes met mine, the anger I thought I had buried rose like fire in my chest along with something else I refused to name. She stumbled forward, laughing bitterly, that laugh I once adored. "Maya, you still look like trouble." Trouble. That was her favorite word for me. Back then, she had a way of saying it that made me feel like I was the only person in the world who could ignite her carefully polished life. And maybe I was until she decided I wasn't worth the risk. The air between us carried the sting of rain and whiskey. My street was silent, except for the far-off hum of taxis and the occasional bark of a restless dog. Inside, my apartment was warm, safe, and untouched by her chaos. But standing in front of me was a storm I had once begged to drown in. "Why are you here?" I whispered, the words cutting sharper than I intended. She leaned against the doorframe, smirking with that reckless charm that used to melt me. Only now it looked broken. Because I had nowhere else to go. There was something about the way she said it that unsettled me. Vivian Hale, the woman who owned skyscrapers and headlines, claiming she had nowhere else. It was absurd, laughable even, but her trembling hands told a different story. I let her in. God help me, I let her in. Inside, the room seemed smaller with her presence. She dropped her coat on the couch, poured another glass from her bottle, and sat like she owned the place. She always had that talent making any space bend around her, like gravity itself bowed in her favor. I crossed my arms, refusing to sit, refusing to let my guard fall. "You can't just show up here drunk and expect me to forget everything." Her eyes softened, and for a flicker of a moment, the Vivian I had once loved surfaced. "I don't expect you to forget. I just..." She paused, her voice cracking. "I just needed to see you." And there it was, the dangerous hook, the trap my heart had sworn never to fall into again. I wanted to scream at her, to tell her about the nights I had cried into my pillow, the way she had left me shattered without a single goodbye. But instead all I managed was, "You ruined me, Vivian." She flinched. I had never seen her flinch before. She was the kind of woman who could walk through fire in stilettos and never let the flames touch her. But my words sliced through her carefully built armor. Her lips parted, trembling. And I've regretted it every day since. Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. I hated how much I wanted to believe her. The first hours of her return felt like walking a tightrope over broken glass. Every glance, every pause, every breath was dangerous. Vivian wasn't just a woman from my past, she was a wound that never fully healed, a scar that still ached in the rain. She stayed the night on my couch, though neither of us really slept. I lay awake, listening to her restless shifting, her quiet sighs, the faint scent of her perfume carried into my bedroom like a ghost. Memories clawed at me, memories I had locked away. Her laughter echoing down Fifth Avenue, her fingers tangled with mine in the back of a yellow cab. The way she once whispered she couldn't live without me before proving she could. By morning, sunlight cut across her face, exposing the raw truth beneath her makeup. Exhaustion, regret, and something frighteningly tender. "Coffee?" I asked flatly, standing in the kitchen with the safety of a counter between us. She sat up slowly, her hair tumbling messily around her shoulders. "If it means you won't throw me out, then yes." I wanted to hate her for making me laugh at that. I wanted to hate her for still knowing how to crack my defenses with one crooked smile. But hate and love are messy twins, and I had never been good at telling them apart. The days that followed were filled with collisions. She followed me into my world like she belonged there, even though she didn't. Grocery shopping, walking my dog, sitting on the bench outside my favorite coffee shop, places she had never cared about when she was too busy building her empire. Now she seemed desperate to anchor herself to the ordinary, as if my life were her lifeline. First I resisted. I kept my walls high, my words cold. But the truth is, she was still Vivian. Brilliant, sharp-tongued, infuriatingly magnetic. Every time she teased me, every time she brushed against my arm by accident or maybe not by accident, I felt the cracks spreading inside me. One night, rain hammered against the windows as thunder shook the sky. I found her sitting on my floor, her back against the couch, staring at the storm like it was a confession. "Do you know why I left you?" she asked suddenly. The question cut me open. I clenched my fists. Because I wasn't enough. Because I wasn't part of your world. Her eyes turned to me, shimmering in the half-light. "No. I left because I was terrified of how much I needed you. And I thought, if I walked away first, it would hurt less than waiting for you to realize I wasn't worth your forever." My breath caught in my throat. For years I had told myself I was disposable to her, a phase she outgrew. To hear that she had loved me too much, it was almost unbearable. "Vivian." My voice shook, my chest tightening. "Do you have any idea what you did to me?" Her hands trembled as she reached out, stopping just short of my cheek. "I do. And if I could take it back, I would burn everything I've built just to rewrite that night." The thunder cracked again, but inside, it was so quiet I could hear my heartbeat slamming against my ribs. Slowly, recklessly, I let her touch me. Her fingers grazed my jaw, and it was like the years had vanished. All the pain, all the bitterness, it lived alongside the love, tangled so tightly I couldn't tell them apart anymore. She kissed me, soft at first, then desperate. The storm outside couldn't compare to the storm inside us. It was messy, angry, tender, and real. And for the first time in years, I let myself drown in her again. Healing is not a straight line. We didn't fix everything that night. There were still arguments, still moments when I wanted to push her away, still days when the past clawed at us like a shadow that refused to fade. But Vivian stayed. She showed up sober, showed up late, showed up with coffee in hand and apologies on her lips. She sat with me through my silence, held me when I didn't want to be touched, laughed with me when I forgot I still knew how. And I stayed too. I let her prove she was different, let her fight for me in ways she never had before. The city around us kept moving, yellow cabs, flashing billboards, endless noise, but in the quiet spaces between, we built something fragile and new. One evening, months later, as the sun bled gold over Manhattan, she slipped her hand into mine on the Brooklyn Bridge. Not like a billionaire, not like a woman who once shattered me, but like someone who had finally learned how to hold on. "Maya," she whispered, her voice shaking. "You're still trouble." I smiled, squeezing her hand. "Good. Because so are you." We laughed, and this time the laughter didn't hurt. It healed. The ghosts of the past didn't vanish, but they no longer haunted us. We had faced the fire, the storm, the broken pieces, and somehow, against every odd, love had grown in the cracks. And for the first time in years, I believed in forever. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.